I'm Eric Singer, Gazette.com, your host for Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, everything that is definitively Colorado Springs Switchbacks. And joining me as always, head coach Steve Trittschuh. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again as always. Hey, great game, terrible conditions.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say a great game, but we did what we had to do. It wasn't the easiest game to play with the field because it was almost underwater in spots, and we struggled a bit at the beginning. They had a couple chances that they probably could have scored. David came up with a great save. I think it was about a minute into the game we made a mistake, but I knew at halftime though if we got to 0-0 at half that we were going to score some goals. And I told Miguel at halftime, I said you haven't really had the best half. But I told him actually to take his shoes off, put his shoes back on, and hey, now he scores 2 goals. So credit to him, credit to all the guys. Defensively, we were very sound again, and we got the victory again.
Let's go to the highlights so we can take a closer look at this before we go forward for your next game, which of course is on the road. Let's take a look.
Yeah, actually, Austin did very well. They were a hard team to play against, especially in the first half. We were struggling to break them down. They were very tight defensively, and they have some good players going forward. So I felt, and my assistant Woldy also felt that this was one of the better teams that have come here and tried to play. And they were very hard to play against. But we had some chances here and there, and like I said, second half we finally broke them down and scored the 2 goals.
When you're talking to your players, especially about conditions like this, everything slows down with the field so wet, and obviously, younger players out there who are watching this as well have to think about that. What would you tell those younger players, just like you told your younger players on the Switchbacks?
Well, we've played in these conditions before, obviously on this field, and I just tell, especially the defenders, don't take any chances. And then Josh goes out in the first minute, kind of takes a chance, and then we'll score a goal. But we regrouped, and I just say just be sure of what you're doing. If you're in doubt of it, just get the ball out. But and then in the attack, don't stop because you never know what's going to happen, especially in the flooded part of the field. That ball can just stop, and defenders run right by it. So we took advantage of a couple of their mistakes and scored 2 goals.
With Austin, you played them before. Were there any changes within their team makeup this time?
Yeah, they've changed a few of their players, but they still have some dangerous players. Their defense they were a little bit different. They played some different guys back there, but in the attack they have some special players. But the back four did a very good job. Not just in the defending part of it, but Jordan Burt and Taylor Hunter got into the attack a lot, and so they caused some problems, which that's really what I wanted. And like I said, as the game settled down, the field got a little bit better in the second half, but and then we came out and scored some goals. And you had some accolades for some of the players. Let's talk about that. Yeah, again, Miguel Gonzalez is on the team of the week, and then Luke Vercoloni is on the bench. They call it, so basically the second team of it. But and I keep telling them, if we keep playing well, we keep getting wins, these guys are going to get individual honors. So, credit to them.
And credit to the Trailheads who made it out in terrible conditions with a rain delay. We had more than 3,000 fans attend this game, which was wonderful, and the fireworks were also.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was great. After the rain went away, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful night. But they hung around. I could hear them out in the parking lot. We just need more of that. We need those people to come back and just root us on.
And the lessons learned by your players, the takeaway that you take from this game?
It's another win, 6 in a row for us, and we're playing with confidence, and the guys have a lot of confidence in the way we're playing, and so we're taking that game into game. So this next weekend we got we have 2 away games coming up, and so we've got to take care of them and play with confidence, just like we have been.
All right, we'll be back with. In just a moment with a player, and then we'll be talking to Coach Steve, looking ahead to the Tulsa game. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick timeout as Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC continues.
Doing what we do for a living, we have to give that extra mile, even when you think you can't. Because not only are we taking care of people, but we're taking care of ourselves. At Centura, it is a culture of health. And as a group, we've brought that to the forefront to demonstrate to patients.
See Juliana's inspiring story at CenturaConnected.org.
Welcome back to Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. I'm your host, Eric Singer, Gazette.com, and joining me now is Samir Bader. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
One of the players that you always see on the field here at home, and if you're watching away games on Gazette.com. So let's learn a little bit about Samir. First, tell us a little bit about you, where you were born, how you got involved in soccer.
So I was born in D.C. and started playing youth soccer in the D.C. area, more specifically in Maryland. Started out with the DC United kind of youth program, and then went over to the residency program that we have for the under-17 national team. And then from there, went back to DC United, played in their youth academy for a little bit. Went on trial with a club, Sporting Lisbon, and then ended up getting signed for FC Porto for their youth team, and then kind of moved up in the system there until I started getting involved with the first team. And then from there, I went and played at an Egyptian club called Al Hadoud, and then from there, ended up coming back to America because the country was unstable. Played in Oklahoma City for last season, and now I'm here with the Switchbacks.
So what was that aha moment that made you say, I'm in the right profession, I need to be a professional soccer player?
I think just kind of every kid's dream, just being young. I don't think there's a kid who ever thinks that he's going to play for any other team but Manchester United or Real Madrid, kind of growing up. And I think as you progress throughout your career, you always kind of have that self-belief, more so when you're younger and you dream a little bit more. But I think just kind of, when I signed my first professional contract, then I was like, all right, let's do this. So
now you were talking about you were in Egypt, you were in Washington D.C. These are much lower altitude places.
Yeah.
Coming here,
Yeah.
high altitude training, and we've talked about this before with Coach. What do you do to really get yourself and your body, your mind and body right for high altitude?
I think just, training day in, day out, and just kind of pushing myself with my workouts off the field, and also trying to get some extra work done during, whether it's before training or after training. I think it's really just constantly working, staying fit. Nutrition as well is important, but constantly training day in, day out at this altitude. I remember the first week I was here, I was dead. I couldn't. I was in the gym and I was like, "What's going on?" And so I got here a couple weeks early, so that helped. But now I'm very adjusted, and I think a lot of the guys are too. So I think that's one of the advantages we have with our home games, and we can see that in the results we get at home.
When you're talking about those results at home and then on the field, when you're on the road, especially playing at low altitude, do you see that major difference too?
I do. I think that when we go away, it's a little bit easier, but I don't think we have as much of an advantage at home because other teams are also used to playing in a normal altitude. But I think when they come here, they're more tired, and it's nicer to have them more tired than us with more energy. So, but I think we've gotten a lot of important away wins as well, as well as being dominant at home. So.
Speaking of that dominance at home, it also means being dominant with the trailheads, your fans, and more than 3,000 fans headed to Sand Creek Stadium this past weekend to watch the Red, White, and Boom, and also the fireworks, but also watch the Switchbacks play. If you had that opportunity right now to be able to talk to your fans about why it is important to continue coming out in droves to support their team, what would that be, sir?
Yeah, I think a lot of what we do as a team is one for us as a team and as an organization, but a lot of it is for our fans. I think that to be able to go out there on a Saturday and kind of put on an entertaining show for them and play good soccer, something that they enjoy. I don't think we're a team that just is all about results. I think that we put the ball down and play a lot, and it's entertaining. We've got a lot of entertaining players in the attack, so we work very hard, I think, throughout the week and as a unit to kind of put on a good performance. And I think it's important for them because a lot of what we do throughout the week is for them to enjoy on Saturdays and
go ahead and
Fridays.
talk to them. You have that moment.
So thank you guys very much for coming out and supporting us, and we hope to have your continued support throughout the season.
All right, well, thank you very much, and it was a pleasure chatting with you. Okay. And that was Samir Bader, one of the Switchbacks that obviously you've grown to know and love on the field. And, you know, the nice thing about here at Colorado Springs Switchbacks, when you go to Sand Creek Stadium, you have the opportunity to be able to talk with your fans afterwards, which is also very exciting. Well, we're going to take a quick time out. We'll be back with Coach Steve in just a moment so we can focus forward as Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC continues. Welcome back to Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, your definitive source for everything that is the Colorado Springs Switchbacks Football Club. And joining me again, Coach Steve Trittschuh, head coach of the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. All right, we've looked behind, we've met a player, one of the great players on the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Now, let's go forward. Let's look at Tulsa, your next opponent on the road.
Yeah, so you know, I've had actually a lot of time since we played last Friday. I've had a few days really to kind of watch some of their last games, and they're a team. You know, they've lost their last four, and two actually at home. So you know, they're a team. I think right now they're searching of their identity and how to play. They've changed their formation a bit. They've changed players a bit. So they actually play Thursday against Orange County in Oklahoma. So. I'll get to see them again, but you know, they look a tough team to play against. They're very compact defensively, and they have some good players up top that and they put a lot of players in the box actually when they go into the attack. So it's not going to be an easy game, but I feel the way we've been playing and the way we can match up against these guys, I think we'll have success.
Some of their offensive weapons.
They're Ochoa up top. He's a big, strong target player. They're number 3 on the left side. I can't remember his name at the moment, but he's got a very good left foot, and he likes to take players on and get crosses in the box. So you know, those two are really the two that stood out to me. But as a team, as collectively, they're a very good team. They're, you know, like I said, they work together. They work very hard. They're a very physical team, and so we've got to match that physicality when we get on the field. And I know these guys will do it. But like I said, they play Thursday, and they're a team that's lost 4 in a row, so we've got to get on top of them at the beginning.
Now, that mindset, that's important too, because you're at the top, they're nearly at the bottom, and you're not taking anything for granted, because anytime these are professionals, they can play as well or better than anyone else.
Well, and that's what we're finding out in this whole league, though. I mean, every game's been competitive. I mean, anybody I feel can beat anybody on a given night, the way I see it and the way it's going. So, but what we need to do is Tulsa's behind us, and we need to keep our points going high, and we need to keep their points going low. So, you know, we need to start separating ourselves from the top 6 to the bottom 6. So, you know, it's in our hands right now, and we're doing well, and we just got to keep that going the second half of the season.
Hot and humid, the forecast in Tulsa for the weekend. You're used to those kind of conditions. This past weekend, it was cool and rainy, but hot and humid is what you're facing. How are you training for that physically?
Well, we're not this week because it's cool. So, but you know, we just got to go in there and deal with it. You know, as Samir was saying earlier, you know, being altitude fit, it helps going down to the lower levels, and so that will help us. I mean, you can't really replicate the humidity that we're going to see in Tulsa. And so we just got to go out and, you know, we're not going to be able to press them the full 90 minutes of the game. We're going to have to sit back at times and just keep our shape and, you know, counterattack them like teams do when they come in here.
Right.
And so, you know, it's some mind games playing when we go there, and it's some games on the field that we got to play. But I think we have a good idea of how we want to play against them. And so, you know, we'll go in there and keep playing the way we've been playing.
You've had the opportunity to be able to see them on video, look at their field, and obviously in Austin that was a different type of field that you had to play with. Here at home, always great to play at home, but now you're going back on the road, dealing with this kind of field. What are you looking at, and how are you going to be functioning? You
know, the field's not bad. It's a little shorter. I believe it's 105 long, so ours is 120 long, but it's still 70 yards wide, so it's a good wide field. The only thing they have, this is a baseball stadium for a minor league team, and as you can see here, the part of the infield's there, so they have to resod that every time that they play. And so I've seen guys slip in it, and so we just have to you know, get out there pregame and see how it is, check our footing, and see what kind of cleats we need to wear.
One thing that I noticed in the most recent game, a lot of talking on the field. It was much slower because of the fact that you can only go so fast on a wet field, but there was a lot of, you know, you were compartmentalized, you were talking, you were doing all the things that you have talked about and preached about throughout this whole season.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the big part of this team. I mean, you know, you have to build from the defensive go forward. You know, we're attacking and we're scoring a lot of goals, but as the guys have played together more, they're more comfortable with each other. They know each other. They know their tendencies now, what they're going to do, and really everybody's on the same page from the back to the front. So, you know, those are things we just work on a little bit during the week and just try and make those better. But right now we got to, you know, keep scoring goals and make our attack a little bit better.
And right now you have that opportunity to be able to talk to the Trailheads, your fans, one-on-one for just a moment to talk about the importance of this game and every game, but why they need to be watching.
Yeah, just keep coming and support us. We really need the support. We have 2 away games, so, you know, go watch us on YouTube this Saturday against Tulsa, and then the following Wednesday against Vancouver. And so we need your support. Keep coming out to the games. Keep being loud, and it's been great for the guys.
All right, and thank you very much, Coach Steve. As always, great luck to you, and you can always watch away games also on Gazette.com. And of course, we'll be back next week when we find out a little bit more about what happened in Tulsa, and we can talk about all the great highlights. With Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, your definitive source for everything that is the Switchbacks, I'm your host, Eric Singer, Gazette.com. Have yourself a great day.